Hey guys, Stacy from Here We Grow Again. I just wanted to talk to you about my succulents here. I pulled them all out from indoors and outdoors, and I just wanted to go over some easy tips that have worked for me over these past 8 months that I've gotten into them. When I first bought these, I was buying every succulent on the shelf. I didn't care what zone it was for or going to thrive in, and that was my #1 problem. So make sure when you're buying any succulent from the store, no matter which one it is, you're checking your zoning and making sure it's going to thrive in that area. Now, the second thing I redo is check for buggies. You know, check for them little creepy crawlers in there. They like to stay under them leaves, guys. So just make sure you're pulling them out, checking them. Now, I totally repot my whole plant. And one of the ways you can do that, these are just little cuttings that I had. They have to be repotted, is when you take it out, you're going to have a bigger root system than this. So you want to make sure you're just tickling them roots and separating anything in there really gently. Get yourself a pot with drainage. I don't use any pots without drainage just because it encourages rot to set in so much faster. No matter what plants I'm growing, I use drainage. And what I do is put a little screen on the bottom, which I will show you. It's right here. And it's just a little screen for your windows or whatever. And I line it on the bottom. And that's because it's going to prevent any of that sandy soil from leaking out on your tables. So get yourself, I noticed the best succulent mix to use is 40 parts of this cactus mix, 10% Coco Loco potting mix is what I use. I like the Coco Loco just because it adds extra nutrients and everything my plants need to really take off and thrive. I don't really give them any nutrients. This is all they get, whatever's in the soil. Cactus soil has a slow release in it, slow release fertilizer, so I don't have to worry about that. And you can tell the difference. Now, regular potting soil is a lot thicker than cactus soil, so that's why I only put 10% potting soil and 40% cactus, and the rest is the rest of the 50 is perlite. And the reason why I use this perlite is because it's just really lightweight, and I use it in my soil and as a top dressing. Now, I don't use rocks as a top dressing because it tends to hold the moisture in there a little more. So I use perlite. It just helps my succulents stay healthy and thrive, especially in this rainy, humid climate we have going on. I mean, at 9 o'clock in the morning, it's already 90 degrees and the humidity's up at 80%. So it's crazy here. This cactus soil is so good. And you just get yourself a little tote like this. Mix it up in there with your hands, a cup, whatever you got. And you'll know that soil is a good texture when you can ball it up in your hands and you take your hands apart and it crumbles. It should just crumble apart. You know, let me see. Like this, when I squeeze it, this should not stay clumped. You can see, like, it just falls apart. So you want to make sure that your soil looks like that. If it doesn't, you know that you have to add a little more perlite or a little more cactus mix in there. Now, once you get your plant repotted, I don't water this guy. Like, I'm repotting this and I don't water this for about 3 days. And the reason why is because when you're pushing the soil down, you know, you want to get them tucked in there nice and firm, not too hard, because you don't want to break any roots that are in there. And that's why I don't water, just in case you're repotting. You know, you squish roots, it happens. These succulents can take up the water if you water right away, and they will rot on you. So I wait 3 days until I water a repotted succulent, and then I give it a nice good drink, let that soil dry out. And any of your succulents, make sure you're watering them every 7 to 10 days. Here in Florida, it takes to dry out. It's going to change wherever you are. So just make sure you're checking your soil by going all the way down to the bottom with your finger or a stick and making sure that moisture is not coming out on there or any soil is coming out. And then you know you can go a little longer. Now, like I said, every 7 to 10 days is when my succulents seem to need water. That depends on how dry my soil is. If I notice it's wet, I just leave it another 3 days and I'm good to go. Now, I let my soil stay dry 3 days between waterings just to encourage no rot to set in. These little suckies are filled with water, so you know this is nice and plump. The soil's dry for the most part, and it's going to do just fine without that water for a few days. So that's a little tip of mine. As far as lighting and bringing your succulents and acclimating them places, you can try your succulents out anywhere you want, indoors, outdoors. The #1 fail with it is acclimating them correctly. Just acclimate them an hour each day, no matter what you're doing, outside in direct sun or out of the direct sun. It should take about a week to acclimate fully, and then you should be fine. Now, all of my succulents, these are inside and outdoor ones, like I said, so they all get 6 hours of morning sun, that bright morning sun. They love it. They thrive in it. They've been growing so much for me these past few weeks that I've switched them in an eastern inside. They sit in an eastern facing window inside for that 6 hours, and outside they stay in a southern facing window, and they get 6 hours of that morning sun as well. And then they're shaded by that afternoon sun, because here, I know here in Florida, it is so intense that it burns my leaves. So my succulents need that afternoon break. I find that with 6 hours of sun, all succulents can thrive happy and healthy, no matter what you're growing. Now aloes, I will say they are different. I only water these once every 3 weeks, but only 2 hours of direct sun a day. The rest is bright indirect light. The same with aloe Wamsleys. These are variegated. I love these. And you can tell what happens in bright direct sun. They get black. These are healthy and coming back. They've been in bright indirect light, only 2 hours of sun a day, direct, and they do great. Now, any type of aloe, no matter what kind it is, just back off on the watering a little more than these regular succulents. As far as the split rock goes, I have care on this guy because he is so complicated and not like any other succulent I've ever had or have here. With the watering and everything, these guys pull up moisture from everywhere they can. So make sure that this, I only water this split rock every 1 to 6 months. Once every 6 months. That's it. That is it. And he does fine. So if you need some info on that, I have an indoor succulent video, and specifically on the split rock care if you need some help on it. I also have information on stem rot if you need help on that. If you have any other questions, please let me know. I think I covered everything for you in keeping your succulents healthy, at least the basics of it. If you're having problems, which problems happen, if they get elongated like this Black Knight has, you can see like he's stretched out. He should be getting more sun. They'll let you know if they need more sun. Just don't let them stretch this much. They should be more of a rosette shape. Like these are baby Black Knights, and they should be nice and compact and just close together. So just make sure that they're growing nice and close together and nice and healthy, and you will be fine. Now you want to check on them just every once in a while, make sure they're doing okay. If you see any problems arising, just address it right away, and you can save your succulents. They are so hardy and come back no matter what you tend to do to them. So I've done so much to my succulents in the past, and it's so exciting to see them come back from that. It's amazing. So just keep in mind the watering, and you guys should be fine. Until next time, bye-bye.